Segment of the show for today. We're talking to Mr. FDubose Jr., and the topic is a vision of hope, an organization that he has created to assist young people primarily in moving forward and uplift. And of course, Mr. Dubose, let me again have you to talk about some of the, what you consider to be some of the solutions, perhaps to some of the problems. And I think that coming from the corporate environment, you have some special ideas in reference to benchmarking. And let's talk about it from that perspective on how you could introduce that into what you're doing now.
Okay, what we've done, we've tried to look at, to utilize the benchmarking process. We look at several other organizations in several other cities to see what they were doing, because the universal problem that we're dealing with is not Nashville specifics. So what we're trying to do is come up with a program, come up with a organization that wears the policies and procedures that we're trying to institute here in Nashville with Vision of Hope. They will be universal. They work everywhere because it's a universal problem. The areas or the cities that I'm primarily benchmarking now: Chicago, Atlanta, Akron, Ohio, Cincinnati, and Moss Point, Mississippi, because we have a problem there, and I have people that I communicate with on a weekly basis, and we kind of look at measurements, where we are, where we need to go, and what we're doing. Just so happened, one case, you know, I'm a results-driven guy, and that's what I kind of learned from the corporate situation. I have a nephew that's handling a program in Atlanta, Georgia, and we discovered that all kids are not academically sound. Okay. They're not going to be college material. They're not going to college. So I'm a firm believer in reintroducing the vocational trade system back into our education process. So just so happened, he came here to visit me in Nashville, and we visited the Auto Diesel College. He had 3 or 4 students who were not doing well in school at all, so we kind of partnership a little bit with the Auto Diesel College here in Nashville, and we got these kids here, they're in school right now. That's just a case in point that you have to have several different outlets. And what I've tried to do, and you asked a question earlier about sources and partnerships that we've kind of partnership with to kind of feed a system for us to supply our kids for us. And namely, one is the Metropolitan School System, where I sub actively now. I've been doing that for 3.5 years. I also use Department of Children's Service. My wife and I are foster parents as well, and a success story from that, we took a kid in that was struggling, and the kid was just out and on the street and pretty well lost, which would have been a burden to the government eventually. So right now the kid's on par to graduate this year. Also, and what we've done, my daughter was in school down at University of Southern Mississippi, and the program which we started back in 2005, was kind of somewhat stifled, because I got to the point that after trying to apply for several grants, and I didn't get any grants, I didn't have any financial contributions coming in, and everything was, all the expenses were on me. So I kind of went down for a while, and my daughter moved back to Nashville, and we were sitting having dinner one night, and she said, "Dad, let's talk about Vision of Hope." I said, okay. I said, what do you want to talk about? She said, what we need to do is we need to come up with 5 core values, what we want to work at. We want to take small increments, and we want to refine our processes to see where we are. And we need a measuring device to see where we need to go. Do we need to change in the middle of the stream of what our approach is, because we need to be, and I guess from that point, what happened to me, it gave me a sense of rejuvenation.
A new vision.
New vision. And then it pushed me right up. So that's kind of where we are now. And I like to be able to show value. And if I'm not mistaken, dealing in the school system, I read one of their missions. And then one of their missions is to produce productive citizens. See, that's what we need to do and instill within our youth. And another thing that we need to look at is our teachers. I found a newfound respect for our teachers in the school system. And somehow we're missing the boat, because we look at teachers and we forget about what their job is. Their job is to teach. Teachers to teach. So now, in the development stages of our kids, to be successful, there are several factors that we're not considering.
All right.
And then we got to look at parents, and parents' job should be parenting. And what we're looking for is we're looking at a Walmart concept with our teachers, one-stop shopping.
Okay.
We want our teachers to do everything. We want them to teach, we want them to be mentors, we want them to be disciplined, we want them to do everything, but we got to kind of look at shifting the responsibility to where it really lies. So we're going to need support, and the continuous support, ongoing support for everybody to make sure that we reach the ultimate goal. And one thing that we did, my daughter and I, we devised a circular approach.